Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhatavrinda Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavad Vaskudya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhatavrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhatavrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now I would like to read from a website about the Astakalya prayer. Astakalya Nitya Lila. Radha's and Krishna's eternal, eightfold their pastimes. I had read this prayer before, and now this is the purport, the explanations of His Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Ravinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So there is a conversation between Hrishikesha, Ananda, Prabhu Das, and His Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Ravinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So where I stopped the last time in this conversation was somewhere here. Okay. For Rupanugas, Hrishikesha Ananda Prabhu asks, but for the Rupanugas, isn't it always Manjari Bhava? Are they always in Manjari Bhava? Srila Prabhupada. Yes, that is the highest, but in the spiritual world, there is no such distinction. Everyone is Krishna conscious. Even, and he says something, he said here, it is something like flowers or clouds. Some personalities, some things in Santa Rasa example. In the spiritual world, everything is a person, even the clouds and the flowers, and everything is alive in the spiritual world. So Hrishikesha Ananda Das says, Gurudev, it is true that Bhaktivinoda's spiritual name was, and he says something, this and this Manjari, and your Guru too. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Isn't he this and this Manjari? Srila Prabhupada, laughing. Oh, you have learned too much. Hrishikesh Ananda. I don't know anything, Gurudev. I have just heard about it. This is the main concern of devotees in the Gaudiya Math. It pains me to hear my godbrothers criticize your godbrothers. Srila Prabhupada. Who is saying like that? Hrishikesha Ananda Das. Many Gurudev, they say there is only preaching. But what about Prabhupada? His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, the Diksha Guru of Srila Prabhupada. I heard he was a Bhajan Anandi with no disciples. Kunja Vihari Das, His Divine Grace Tridandi Bhikshu Tirtha Maharaj found him and brought him out to preach, isn't it? Srila Prabhupada, yes, my Guru Maharaj came out to preach. Hrishikesh Ananda Das, wasn't he already in the Nitya Lila? How about Gaura Kishora? Didn't he have only one disciple? Srila Prabhupada, yes, but he was one disciple better than thousands of others. He was my Guru Maharaj. He was there in Nitya Lila, in eternal Lila of Srimati Radhika and Shri Krishna. But he kindly came down to preach. Hrishikesh Ananda Das. What about your godbrother, Krishnadas Babaji? He has no disciples. Srila Prabhupada. Akinchan Krishnadas. Hrishikesh Ananda Das. Yes, Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada. There are two types of devotees, Bhajan Anandi and Goshtya Anandi. Babaji Maharaj is in Bhajan. Hrishikesh Ananda Das. He's always chanting Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, that is his only business. He is a Kinchan. Hrishikesh Ananda Das. Gurudev, what is the meaning of Bodhayam Atman Atmanam? At the end of Sri Brahma Samhita, verse 59. Does it mean that we realize Krishna and our own Svarupa simultaneously? Srila Prabhupada. Yes. Hrishikesh Ananda Das. What about realizing your Svarupa, Gurudev? Srila Prabhupada. That is the same thing. At that point, I was thinking, so this is what Hrishikesh Ananda Prabhu writes, no, he's saying further the following thing. At that point, I was thinking to ask Prabhupada what was his spiritual name in Nitya Lila, in the eternal Lila of Srimati Radhika and Shri Krishna. But I was afraid he might chastise me for asking such an exalted question while in my obvious state of bondage in this material world. So, without wanting to break the train of thought in the above conversations, I would like to add that one time I told Srila Prabhupada that I had returned to his protection because I knew that my Nitya Sambandha was with him and I was wasting my time focusing on another. Srila Prabhupada simply smiled at me. Once an interesting thing happened. Together with Devananda Swami, we went and asked Prabhupada to please chant on our new Tulasi Japa malas from Vrindavana. As I was returning to Srila Prabhupada's feet, and no longer had my original mala, His Divine Grace Abhacharanavinda Srila Prabhupada chanted on my mala. But when Devananda tried to get Prabhupada to chant on his new beads, His Divine Grace Abhacharanavinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, so Srila Prabhupada became angry and asked Devananda about his original big red non-Tulasi wooden beads from San Francisco. Abhacharanavinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, what is the matter? Do you think your old red beads are not Tulasi? Devananda. No, Gurudev, but I just thought that these are from Vrindavana. Srila Prabhupada, dismissing the whole matter. This is Krishna consciousness. You should never think for a moment that your old beads are not directly Tulsi. So Srila Prabhupada refused to chant on Devananda's new Vrindavana Tulsi beads. On another occasion, I was sharing armed part duty with Satsvarupa Goswami at 2 a.m. in Mayapur. When I walked past Prabhupada's room, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada called me in. When I entered, he told me that he wanted to sing one bhajan and to wake up Bharadraja. So we assembled on the floor and played kartals and mridanga as Prabhupada sat on his bed with a harmonium and sang a private bhajan, which Bengali bhajan I cannot remember for certain. There was another interesting experience during the time I was close to Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. One day Prabhupada held a mass Hare Nam initiation of new Bengali devotees before the deities in the temple room, which was open and on the ground floor. Jayapataka, Satsvarupa, and other Maharajas were present along with about 100 devotees. I was seated near Prabhupada when, during the ceremony, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada turned to me without any warning and asked me in Bengali to explain the 10 Nam Apparata to these new initiates in Bengali. So, taking heart, I began with the mad elephant offense, Satam Linda. During the topic, I also mentioned to the new devotees that this includes especially the Gaudiya Math and any Prabhupada's godbrothers or their disciples. Prabhupada was sitting there and he allowed me to drive home this point. That it is a terrible and unpardonable offense to speak ill of any Gaudiya Vaishnava, of any devotee. Srila Prabhupada His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada did not object at all. And he seemed pleased at my words. When I finally reached offense number 9, because of my false pride, Srila Prabhupada withdrew my memo. I drew a blank. So I turned to His Divine Grace, to Srila Prabhupada, and said that I had forgotten the last 2. But Srila Prabhupada, without showing the least displeasure, just immediately picked up where I had left off. Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Some mistakes in the ISKCON ashram system which deviate from the bona fide Gaudiya Math standards established by Srila Saraswati Thakur. So there's text about that. The reason I am mentioning this is to show that ISKCON's Srila Prabhupada did not ever intend to change any teaching or system established by our Param Gurudeva. Yet some things were changed by mistake. So, first thing. Once, when I was together with Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur, 1973, Satsvarupa Maharaj came and gave me a sannyas mantra. But when I read it, I said it was not correct. We then went and asked Srila Prabhupada about this, and Srila Prabhupada said it was a mistake and that I was correct. Even Maharaj reminded me about this a few years ago in Vrindavan. He remembered it well. Shuddha Kirti Prabhu also is witness to this, as is said Satsvarupa Maharaj. His Divine Grace always said that he was not inventing anything and that he would never change the teachings nor systems given by his Gurudev. Still, these and other mistakes have been blindly and fanatically accepted by ISKCON devotees. But these mistakes should be corrected, just like the sannyas mantra was corrected. Klim Gopi Bhava Shrayaya Svaha. This is the sannyasa Gayatri as given by Srila Saraswati Thakur to his direct sannyasi disciples. And also there are other things, but the text goes on, and I will continue. another time to read these texts. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Jai Jaganath, Jai Baladeva and Subhadra. Jai Jaganath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra, Jai Jagannatha, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra, Jai Jagannatha, Jai Jagannatha, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Goranita, 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 Jaya Shri Shri Gornita, 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 Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita, Jaya Shri Shri Gornita, Goranita, 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 Jaya Shri Shri Gornita, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Shri Prabhupada. Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ван чака потуру почака. Пас на купе почака, пъти на планебо. Вижнавебе на мол на маха.